Top of the afternoon to you, everyone. Good afternoon from Glacier Peak High School, home of the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. And we bring you 4 games today, the first of 3 days in a row with 4 games for the 2018 Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament right here at Glacier Peak, and it is going to be a great time as there's 3 of us bringing you the play-by-play action over the next 3 days. And I'm Mark Ockett, starting things off for the first 4 games today, and we will just roll this one right on through until we crown a champion coming up on Saturday evening. So you've got a great lineup. I mean, Glacier Peak has really put this one together so nicely for us on STSPN.com, as Peninsula and Glacier Peak will go in the first game. And then coming up at 2:45, we've got Kent Lake and Sunnyside, followed at 4:30 by Edmonds, Woodway, and Chiawana. Lewis and Clark and WF West get going at 6:15. Girls basketball, and again, 3 great days of basketball for you here, and we are happy to bring it to you on your home for high school sports, STSPN.com. And Todd Elvig, isn't this fun? Have you had fun putting it all together, getting all set up and ready to go? Didn't you get going yesterday?
We did get going yesterday. Had a little help from my daughter and my son to bring this stuff over here and get it all set up, and it was still all here this morning.
That's important, definitely, as we roll in and get set to go. Now, presenting sponsor, Ace Hardware of Lake Stevens and Everett, and also presenting sponsor, Rairdon's Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Also, we've got our scoreboard sponsor, GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric. From the Stripe, yes, we will have free throw sponsors, Gamut 360 Holdings, and also Speedway Chevrolet. Player of the Game package brought to you by Adrenaline Fundraising and our timeout sponsor, McDaniels Do It Center of Snohomish. Todd, great sponsors and a great tournament, and we are excited, so we're going to get right to it here as the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, the host school in the tournament, and Peninsula Seahawks are being introduced right now. Let's take a look at the Peninsula Seahawks. Now, Peninsula is in Gig Harbor, Washington, just a little bit away from Tacoma. Beautiful, beautiful area. There's Peninsula High School and also Gig Harbor down there. Their head coach is Michael Schick. He is in his 2nd season, and he announces this starting lineup. First of all, starting as a 5'8" sophomore guard is Lindsay Lavrovich. Also starting as a 5'6" senior guard, Esther Papulis. Starting as a 5'6" sophomore guard, Piper Bauer. A 6'1" forward, senior Taryn Richter. And also at forward, a 6' senior, Belle Frazier. You've got Lavrovich, Papulis, Bauer, Richter, and Frazier for the Peninsula Seahawks. And for the home team in this game, they'll be wearing the whites. It is the Glacier Peak Grizzlies here in Snohomish, Washington in their 11th season, and their head coach is Brian Hill. He has been here right from the start. Wonderful guy to work with, and he announces this starting lineup. At guard, a 5'8" senior, Haley Grambo. Also in the post, a 5'11" sophomore, that's Madison Rubino. Also starting in the forward position, a 5'8" senior, Sydney Guffey. At guard, a 5'5" sophomore, Aaliyah Collins. And at guard, a 5'8" sophomore, Maya Erling. So it's Grambo, Rubino, Guffey, Collins, and Erling for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Breaking it down for Peninsula, 3 seniors, 2 sophomore starters, and for Glacier Peak, 2 seniors and 3 sophomore starters. We'll take a quick break and then be back with more right here on STSPN.com.
When you shop at Everett and Lake Stevens, we'll help you find what you're looking for and offer friendly advice too. Owners Greg and Christine are all about serving their customers and their community. They support local high school sports and many other community organizations and events. So the next time you need help with your to-do list or project around the house, bring it to Ace. They'll greet you at the door and help you find whatever you need fast. Show your support for locally owned businesses. Shop Ace Hardware just off Highway 9 in Lake Stevens and Evergreenway in Everett. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
Welcome back. Right out there on the court in their black uniforms with green numbers, and it looks like white trim, is the Peninsula Seahawks. And here come the Glacier Peak Grizzlies in their white uniforms. We are ever so happy to bring you the action here on STSPN.com. Hope everybody had a great Christmas, chance to get together with family and friends, relax, rejoice, enjoy. And now we are ready for this 3-day tournament to commence. First of 4 games today, and I'll just keep you on top of what's going on as Glacier Peak wins the tap. They're moving it around, and that is Aaliyah Collins. She was our player of the game last week in that contest against Lake Stevens. Misses on the air ball, and that ball is going to go out of bounds. It'll stay with the Grizzlies. Grizzlies average 58.3 points per game and just average giving up 37.1. That's an excellent ratio of plus 21.2 per game. And the Grizzlies do generally work the ball around quite well in the half court. That ball is going to go out of bounds, and it will be going back to the Peninsula Seahawks. Yeah, generally, but not that time. Peninsula will face the pressure defense by Glacier Peak to get things going, and I just love to see it when a team puts that on. The biggest thing is making sure they still have plenty of gas at the end of the game, Todd.
That is right. I watch how fast and how they're always in people's faces, and it just really seems difficult.
Pays off there for Grambo to get the steal, and she lays it in off the left side. Glacier Peak is on top 2-0 to get things going here. We're at 7:19 to go in the first quarter. Our second game will feature Kent Lake and Sunnyside. Bingo. Whoa, that was a beautiful shot. Piper Bauer connecting on that. She averages 15.4 points per game for the Seahawks. That is a beautiful pass play right there. From Collins, she finds Erling, and Erling lays it up on the reverse. Just like that. Back to a 1-point lead for the Grizzlies. Trapping defense. Might see some of that buzz defense out there too. Over on the left, up high. Glacier Peak forcing them outside. Underneath. Well, they didn't capitalize that time. Seahawks will get the board, and oh, you can count that one. Yeah, that was a good-looking play right there by Belle Frazier. Frazier's going to get the basket, and she was fouled. So she'll have one foul shot to cap things off here. First foul of the game. That's going to go against Sydney Guffey, her first foul. Yeah, that was just a sweet-looking play, and these teams know, too, that the level of competition in this tournament is up there, and so they're bringing their A game right out the gate. I can see the intensity, Todd, right early on here in this one.
Absolutely. I see how these girls just are loving this game. They just get after it so hard.
And it's a lot of fun. Come out here, play non-conference games, and these are so important as you get ready and tune up for a full conference slate, which is coming up. We'll run down a number of games coming up for both these teams coming up. Drive in, way off the mark that time. Superb pass. There it goes. Look at that. That's going to be a possibility of a three-point play. Connecting is Lindsay Lavrovich. And she took the pass from Belle Frazier. Frazier, excellent court vision that time to find her. That is going to be the second team foul against Glacier Peak. And the foul is going against Maya Erling. Number 1 on her. Chance to wrap up the three-point play, and she does. Lavrovich gets it done. Lavrovich, a 5'8" sophomore guard. We have a good mixture, Todd, on both these rosters for the starters of sophomores and seniors. Collins goes all the way in uncontested and drops that one in there for Glacier Peak. They needed that one as they were down by 5 points at 9-4. To close the gap a little bit here as Peninsula will come into front court. And, ooh, that one just rolled out of there, but they get the rebound, keep it alive on the offensive end. I like that defense by Grambo, and she will stay with you, too. Look at her following her opponent right there, Piper Bauer, all the way over on the right side.
Yep, she has to be able to be careful of her fouls, though, because I've seen her get in foul trouble quick.
2-3 zone applied by Glacier Peak. Little second thought that time by Belle Frazier, and Frazier comes up empty. Getting the ball was Madison Rubino. And here comes Glacier Peak out of backcourt. Collins, right side, Erling. Erling loses her footing, but there was a grab in there. 5:10 left, first quarter, first game of 4 here today, 4 tomorrow, and 4 on Saturday, wrapping up with the championship. That foul is going to go against Taryn Richter. That's her first foul, first team foul, just out of bounds.
Yeah, this is the real deal. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead. Erling was fouled on the way in, and she's going to have 2 shots coming up. Go ahead, Todd.
I was going to say, this is a real tournament. You know, they're going to wind up with a champion.
Yeah, I like that. Instead of, okay, well, we'll play for 2 or 3 days, and then we'll just play for 2 or 3 days. They're actually progressing towards a champion in this, and that's something you can market ahead for you as to, hey, well, this is what we accomplished. Foul goes against Taryn Richter, her second team foul, and Erling misses the first shot. 9-6 as it sits on the scoreboard. 5:08 left to go first quarter. Mark Ockett, Todd Elvig, and Sarah Elvig bringing you the action here. Sarah, your daughter, helping us out too, and she is a student here at Glacier Peak High School, a junior.
Yes, she is. But she doesn't have any of those neon shoes.
No, I see some of those neon shoes down there, some different colors for Peninsula. There's Glacier Peak getting the ball back. 3 turnovers already underneath Erling. Oh, yeah.
Basket by number 35,
Maya Erling already has 5 points, and we are tied at 9. 4:40 left to go in the first quarter. Oh, that was a beauty. That was just a rainbow of beauty right there. Coming through, Lindsay Lavrovich. Getting back on the other end. Now Collins drives in again, and Todd, we saw her last week in that Tuesday game against Lake Stevens, and she came through in the third quarter and hit several lay-ins, just breaking away like that. Now here's Collins again with a steal. There she goes, and on her way in. 6 points for Aaliyah Collins, and it's a 13-12 lead. Lead switches hands for the second time. Down the chute it goes. We are seeing some good stuff right here. Piper Bauer nails it. We may see a lot of lead changes and tied games throughout this one as these two are matching up really well. A 2-point game. There's Collins again taking it in. She's got 8 of the 15 points for Glacier Peak, and a 30-second timeout has been called. Glacier Peak calling it. We're tied at 15. This is a great start to the 2018 Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament. We want you here for these next 2 days, and we're going to take a break. Be right back with more here on STSPN.com.
You know, I've been wanting to buy this truck, and I've been so busy with work that I haven't been able to make it into the dealership. Well, Raritan's of Monroe is actually bringing the vehicle to me. I gotta go. It looks like it's here right now. I'll call you back.
Too busy to schedule a test drive? Raritan's of Monroe will bring the test drive to you. It's part of our new concierge service. Personalized car shopping built for today's customer. It's another reason why Raritan's of Monroe is a customer service champion. Let us know what we can do for you.
Nope. Thanks for being with us. It's all tied up at 15 as you see on your screen. Team fouls are even at 2 apiece. Bringing you the action on STSPN.com. Pressure defense applied by the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. They're not letting up at all. It's paid off for them. They forced 4 turnovers so far by Peninsula. Peninsula is out of the South Sound Conference 3A, and they are 7-0 overall, 5-0 in conference play already. So Glacier Peak matching up against a good one to get things going. 5 on the shot clock. There it is.
Wow.
Getting it done is Belle Frazier. She's got 2 field goals in the quarter, 5 points in the game, and with 3:06 left, it's a 2-point lead for Peninsula. So, yeah, you cross the Narrows Bridge and scoot over there a little bit to Purdy, and there is where Peninsula is. Over on the far left side is Shay Sandy, who's just came into the game. Sandy connects on it, and she can be a dangerous scoring threat for Glacier Peak. Miss underneath, but we have a push-off. That's going to be a foul against the Grizzlies with 2:43 left to go in the first quarter. Collins called for her the foul. First and third team foul. 2 team fouls for Peninsula. At the foul line is Kara McKinney. A little short on that one. McKinney's first attempt at scoring some points. Renee Doss is into the game for Peninsula. Now coming off the bench, she is averaging 9.7 per game. Peninsula averages 71.3 a contest and averages given up 49.2 for a plus of 21.1. Foul shot is good. 18-18, already tied for the third time. A little bit short on that one. Right there, a great presence by Holloman to get the rebound. That is Tiara Holloman, who just entered the game, follows up with the layup, and it's a 2-point lead for Glacier Peak. Todd, we got a lot of offense in this one.
Boy, I tell you what, that is absolutely right. I think that they probably know that each of them can run that full court press, so they're working ways to break that, and we're seeing a lot of points.
They're going to keep us on top of our game with as intense as this start is, and that's good. We want it like that. Keep it entertaining for all of us. You see that pressure defense, Erling back there trying to – it's 35 on 35, both of them wearing that number. Belle Frazier finally gets it into front court. And we have a traveling call. 5th turnover against Peninsula. 2:11 left, first quarter action. They spaced them out pretty well, Todd, too, with the next game being at 2:45. I hate it when they go, okay, an hour and a half later, we're going to get started with the next one, because it never really seems to work out that way in a tournament. In fact, sometimes you need a full 2 hours between, but we're here set up and ready to go. There is a held ball.
Held ball. Possession arrow.
That's going to go to Peninsula. Stays with them. Up by the 2 points with 1:59 left in the first quarter here at Glacier Peak High School. Glacier Peak opened in 2008 as the second high school in the Snohomish School District. Of course, the longtime Snohomish High School across the valley opened in the 1800s, late 1800s.
I think it was like the 1700s.
1700s. There's Belle Frazier fighting hard. You going to count that one? I do believe, and there should be a foul shot coming up too. Let's double check on that one. They're going to get that set on the scoreboard as Frazier heads now to the foul line. That would tie things up if they count it. Indication, yes. Finally they say, okay, we're going to count that one. Foul is going to go against Maya Erling. Her second foul, 4th team foul. Keep a note on that. So let's see, for Glacier Peak, Sydney Guffey has one, Aaliyah Collins has one, and then Erling with 2. On the other side, Taryn Richter with 2 fouls. And she is not in the game right now. Miss on the foul shot. Goes to Collins. No room for Collins to penetrate. Up high, Holloman. Oh, swatted out of there. Great play. Coming through with the quick hand was Belle Frazier. We have a push-off on the tail end of that. 20/20 vision on the scoreboard. That's going to go against Erling. Okay, now that is big news right there. It is foul number 3 on Erling, and that is the 5th team foul. They're going to have to set her down for quite a while now, Todd, and that is a big factor. She's got 5 points in the game, not just the offense, but also the other things she'll help on that pressure defense too.
No, absolutely. I think that's where their high pressure gets them in a little bit of trouble once in a while, is because they push it a little bit too hard.
Missed shot by Doss, but Peninsula gets the rebound. 1:10 left to go, first quarter. Tied up at 20-20 with the basketball. Renee Doss back up top, Frazier. 15 on the shot clock. Frazier loses the dribble, but getting it back are the Seahawks. Missed shot over on the right side. Follow-up, excellent. Right there, coming through is Kara McKinney. Her first field goal of the game, and it's back to a 2-point lead. Thrown out of bounds by Glacier Peak. That hurts a bit. 41.3 on the scoreboard here in the first quarter.
I think they got to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. A little frantic right there. Lavrovic with the basketball, playing with 6 points. Gets her way into front court, picked up by Malia Smith. Comes loose. Glacier Peak trying to get a handle on it. Collins, that's just a scrum out there. There you go. Now, finally back. Traveling is going to be called against Aaliyah Collins. That's just one of those things where she was rolling on the floor, chasing after the basketball, got hold of it, and as she was moving is called for the travel. Gives it back to Peninsula. Shot clock is dead. 20.9 seconds left to go here in the first quarter, and a 2-point lead for Peninsula. Peninsula's biggest lead has been 5 points when they were up 9-4. They'll work for the one shot right here. You gotta love that defense by Grambo. Grambo just putting the heat on and forces the turnover. It worked.
Wow.
Yeah, Grambo is relentless on defense. We'll bring it into front court now. Now it'll be Glacier Peak working for the one shot. Collins driving in. That was absolutely perfect. 10 points for Aaliyah Collins in the first quarter. How about that? And she leads all scorers in the department. We are tied at 22. So this game switched hands and lead 5 times, was tied 5 times. We go to the second quarter like it's 0-0, tied at 22 apiece. Thanks for being with us in the first game of the 2018 Top of the Peak tournament here at Glacier Peak High School on your home for high school sports, STSPN.com.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
We're coming back to you live going to the second quarter at Glacier Peak High School. I'm Mark Ockett along with Todd Elbig on STSPN.com bringing you the action. They got some really nice T-shirts down there too, Todd. You see the official score people down there and announcers. They've all got their Top of the Peak T-shirts on. I guess ours are on their way up a little bit later in the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, missed shot on the left side. Now Grambo's going to release. There's a three-pointer. Puts Glacier Peak back on top. That's their biggest lead, by the way. Now at 25-22. They had got up 2-0, and then Peninsula came back, hit a 3-ball, and they had been in the lead since that time for the most part in that first quarter. Turnaround jumper, Belle Frazier. She rings the bell perfectly on that one, has 9 points. So she's got 9. Piper Bauer has 6 points, hitting 2 3-pointers for the Seahawks. Over on the left side, they work it around Guffey, Collins. I like that ball movement. That is exactly what you want to do. You want to keep that ball moving around like they just did. Grambo nails it. Now 7 points for Haley, the senior, averaging 8 points per game. And it's a 3-point lead once again for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Glacier Peak steals it away. Guffey with the basketball. 7 turnovers now for Peninsula. Oh, driving to the basket, no doubt about that one. Madison Rubino was hacked on the way in, and she will have 2 shots awaiting her. That's going to go against Belle Frazier. Frazier's been out there a long time so far in the first half. Just has 1 foul, 3rd team foul, 5 team fouls against Glacier Peak at this point in time. Rubino connects on the first foul shot. That is her first point of the game. Foul shots brought to you today from the stripe by Gamut 360 Holdings and Evergreen Speedway. Makes the next one. So Glacier Peak's got it up to a 5-point lead at 29-24. Handle lost on at that time by McKinney. Picked up by Grambo. Grambo drives the other way. It's blocked out of bounds. Getting back on defense very well was Loverovich. And it'll be Glacier Peak inbounding on the right baseline. 6:31 to go, second quarter. No problem there. Grambo able to find Sydney Guffey, and Guffey pops it in, mid-range jumper from 9 feet out. And a 7-point lead now for Glacier Peak. Todd, is there starting to put some distance between themselves and the Seahawks.
Well, maybe they've settled down a little bit.
Well, that's the key. You know, you get started, you're playing at an odd time, too, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Teams aren't used to playing at that time. It's usually at nighttime.
I tell you what, this Peninsula team is no joke.
No, they're not. Well, they're 7-0, and there's Collins getting the ball, and she comes down a little bit strong that time. But as she was trying to get control of the basketball, is grabbed and fouled. And that'll be the 4th team foul against Peninsula. Foul's going to go on Piper Bauer. 1st team foul. Glacier Peak will inbound on the right baseline with 5:55 to go in the second quarter. Inbound it goes to Rubino. Rubino can't hold on to it. Peninsula trying to get it back, and Glacier Peak right there again.
Wow.
There is Rubino. Pull up. Oh, on the right side. She had a good look. Just couldn't get that one to rattle down into the cone. As Peninsula will get the ball, goes the other direction. There is a long-range jumper by McKinney. Missed on that one. And the rebound grabbed by Sydney Guffey. Glacier Peak quickly out of backcourt. Go the other way, and that's last touch by a Seahawk. Glacier Peak still up by 7 points. Biggest lead of the game for either team. Grambo will inbound on the left baseline. Trying to add to that. You hit a 3-ball here, and it's in double figures. Guffey with the basketball. Now she's able to find Rubino, and Rubino surrounded that time. That's going to be a foul against Peninsula. Foul goes against Belle Frazier, her second, 5th team foul. Team fouls are even at 5 now with 5:21 to go in the second quarter. Inbound pass to Collins, and it works from Grambo. Collins with her first 2 points here in the second quarter, and a 9-point lead now for Glacier Peak. That one finds a home. That's Belle Frazier. Frazier has 11, matching things up pretty close to Aaliyah Collins. This has just been a very entertaining game so far. While there's a lot of offense underneath, there it goes. That is Shea Sandy finding Sydney Guffey. Guffey connects on the basket, and it's a 9-point lead at 35-25. We'll be back with more here on STSPN.com.
Did you know that Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
We are live here in the first game of the Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament at Glacier Peak High School. Again, if you're just connecting with us, it is Glacier Peak against Peninsula in Game 1. And Glacier Peak has got themselves off to a 35-26 lead. It was tied at 22 at the end of the first quarter. With the Peak finding what they need to do here in the second quarter, and a big part of that is their full court pressure defense. I love to see that, Todd. It's just so much fun. It's exciting. It's hard work, and you have to condition yourself well for it. But, man, when it pays off, and it does, you keep at it, it will really reap you a lot of harvest.
Yeah, I just can't believe that the girls can do it the whole game. But, we watched them do it several times.
Peninsula will have the basketball with 4:48 left to go now in the second quarter and trailing by 9 points. There's another steal by Haley Grambo. She's just been all over it. Down the other direction, nails that. Haley has 7 points in the quarter, 9 in the game, and it's 11-point lead. That one's going to be off the mark, and now you start to see where Peninsula is rushing some shots. Glacier Peak is definitely in their head. Madison Rubino underneath inside. That goes to Sydney Guffey. Guffey connects for the basket. She has 6 points here in the first half, and it's a 13-point lead at 39-26. Yeah, that's a beautiful three-pointer over there by Lindsay Labrovich. That's her her second three-pointer. She has 9 points in the game. She had 6 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, you can't leave those out. You come back in a hurry with those.
Rubino close, but not getting it there. Grambo steals the ball again. I have her for 4 steals already. Grambo driving towards the basket, and there's going to be a grabbing foul as it'll be out of bounds for Glacier Peak, but still those fouls are starting to stack up. That foul goes against Renee Doss, her first. 5 team fouls called against the Grizzlies so far in this game. Grambo with the ball, moves it over to the left side. She's just a smart player. You can just tell body language and stuff, but really when you take a look at this entire Glacier Peak team, now that looked like either a shot or pass. It was kind of hard to tell. Goes the other way. Seahawks trying to keep it alive. That's going to go out of bounds. But, Todd, as you watch out there and just try to pick up their patterns, and we have seen them before, as Grambo will come out of the game. What an excellent first half for her. Checking in her place is Malia Smith. But they just moved the ball really well.
I can't see from here, but there's a Peninsula. Is that number 25 over there?
On the floor?
Yeah.
No, they don't have a 25 on the roster. We might want to hit.
I don't know. I need to get my.
No, it's okay. Well, to your credit,
those are
to
hard numbers to
see.
see.
Look at that. 3-point basket. Malia Smith takes it up to a 42-29 lead. 13 points, and that matches the biggest lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies here. And you don't see them letting up in any way, shape, or form. We have a held ball called.
Held ball, possession arrow, Peninsula.
That's going to go to Peninsula. No,
35 is the number I was
35, yeah, that is Belle Frazier. But I totally get where you're coming from because, and I've got my specs on. These are hard uniforms to read for Peninsula, and they've got the black uniforms with the green numbers on them. And that makes it a bit challenging, especially with the pace of basketball. And there should be certain rules. At least I thought there were certain rules against how you put the cover schemes together, but they've gotten away with more in recent years. Marketing,
Oh, yeah. Well, that Belle Frazier, I've seen her, about 4 or 5 times now. She's got a pretty good wingspan on her. She darts that in there and interrupts the pass.
Yeah, you get her into the middle there, and it's tough. She has the ball right now. Turnaround jumper going to come away. A miss on that one. Gaining up with the basketball is Malia Smith. Here she comes out of back court. Picked up by Frazier near midcourt. Collins now over to Guffey. Guffey air ball. Out of bounds it goes and goes back to Peninsula. 2:25 left to go in the second quarter. Glacier Peak with a 13-point lead, and it was tied at 22 at the end of the first quarter. Seahawks into front court. Kind of fun to say that, too. Bauer with the basketball. Now she's able to find Doss. Doss misses on the shot. The Glacier Peak just so aggressive, and that is going to be a carry. But I'll give them credit, and specifically Tiara Holloman, while she had trouble with the dribble coming out of it, she just hustled right in there to break up that play for Peninsula. And even though you give the ball back, Todd, it's still a matter of disrupting what Peninsula is doing, and Glacier Peak has been making that happen all half long.
Boy, they really have. It's just impressive to watch.
Peninsula in front court now, less than 2 minutes to go. That's good ball movement right there. Can they capitalize on it? You see right there, Glacier Peak up in their face. That's Chase Sandy, and Sandy forcing a quick shot, goes out of bounds, and it's going to go back to the Grizzlies. Lindsay Loverovich is back into the game for Peninsula. Has 9 points, has hit a couple of three-pointers. 1 for 1 from the foul line. Glacier Peak will move it out of backcourt now. Collins with the basketball. 12 points in the game. Had a big first quarter with 10. Over on the far left side, Malia Smith misses on that one. Had a good look, just off the mark slightly. Getting the rebound and taking it home will be Shea Sandy. And it's a 15-point lead for Glacier Peak. 1 minute, 17 seconds left to go in the first half. Haley Grambo looks like she's going to check back in. Peninsula can't be too excited about that. A missed shot by Lovrovich, as Glacier Peak will end up with a rebound. Here comes Malia Smith out of backcourt, and she's put in some quality time since Grambo checked out. There it is. There's some more quality time right there. Malia burying a long three ball about 3 feet behind the arc. And it's up to an 18-point lead for the Grizzlies. 44 seconds left to go. There's another steal. Turnover number 9 against the Peninsula. And a travel has been called as Guffey got a little bit too much happy feet going in that time. Grambo is going to come back into the game, and checking out is Sydney Guffey. And Guffey's been a strong contributor out there. She averages 6.8 points per game and has put up 6 points all in this second quarter. An 18-point lead, biggest lead of the game by far for either team, as the Grizzlies in command here They want to be playing on Saturday night at 6:15 for the championship. They're showing that right in the early going in the first game of our tournament. Missed shot. There's Glacier Peak. Peak is just looking really sharp. Over on the left side from Collins. Going to be a miss that time from Smith. It's going to go back to Peninsula. Esther Papulis is in the game and will inbound. We have a foul just as that ball was being brought in bounds with 7 seconds to go in the second quarter. That's going to go against Tiara Holloman. Not sure what she was thinking in that case there. Hate to give up a foul. Team fouls now at 6. 3 seconds, 2. Going to fire a long one, and that's the end of the first half. So as we are through one half of action here, Glacier Peak Grizzlies just bolting ahead. Now, they lead at 47-29 at the end of the first half, and it was tied at 22 apiece, which means Glacier Peak outscored Peninsula 25-7 in that second quarter and really take command of this game here as we will take it to halftime, and then we'll come back. We'll take a break, and we'll then get things all set. I'll get you some numbers from the first half, and we'll get things all set and ready to go for the second half. Hey, thanks so much for being with us this holiday season and throughout the entire year on STSPN.com, your home for high school sports. In the first game of the Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament here at Glacier Peak High School in Snohomish. Again, our score, Glacier Peak 47, Peninsula 29. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
As records tumbled and enemies cried, came the birth of a legend. But we did not sleep. We did not rest. With knowledge gained and lessons learned, a legend was born to search and destroy. Respect the beast, but don't wake the monster.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200 plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient Lennox heat pumps that keep your life simply perfect. Call GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electric today or visit us at gsheating.com.
Welcome back to Glacier Peak High School. We're in the midst of the first game of 4 today and the first day of 3, and each day we'll have 4 games. So that is the 2018 Glacier Peak High School top of the Peak Holiday Tournament, and they just did an excellent job of putting all these teams together. I'm Mark Ockett with Todd Elvig. Sarah Elvig is here too. 47-29 is the score. Glacier Peak, the home team, and the host team is up by 18 points at halftime. But, you know, the thing is, Todd, you can't stand and sit on your laurels going into the second half. You've got to continue to put the pressure on and, as they say, step on their throats and pull away on this thing and seal this one up. And, you know, the thing is, too, they also need to look at saving their legs because they have 2 more days of basketball coming up here. And it's going to be intense.
They do, but, you know, that's what these tournaments are all about, to find out, you know, separate the I was going to say men from the boys, but it'd be
dig yourself out of that one.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can dig myself out of that one.
That's okay. I'll see what I do and help you
out. You
realize
what I'm saying?
I do.
From the winners and the, you know.
Yeah, the haves from the have-nots, right?
Something like that.
I think you're going down that path.
I think we're getting into.
We're here to help each other out. So an 18-point lead, and Glacier Peak will have the basketball to start the second half. So that really plays well for them, and you know they're going to just keep putting that pressure defense on. It's been so effective. Was in that first half, as they'll now be going from your right to left. White uniforms for the Grizzlies and the dark uniforms for the Peninsula Seahawks out of the South Sound Conference. Again, they're undefeated. They're 7-0. 5-0 in conference play. Peninsula is going to get it back. Peninsula had a first half of turnovers, a pretty high margin right there of 12 of them. Glacier Peak with 7 turnovers.
I think a lot of times teams they just can't believe it at a certain point. You know, they're like, yeah, they can come out and do this for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden they're just always there. They're under your feet.
Yeah, it's like, where do they get that energy? And they just keep coming at you. And Glacier Peak right there at half court. There's Aaliyah Collins, strong first half for her. Now, I do want to cover some points, as I said I would do going into the break. Oh, that's a tough miss right there as Grambo gets a rebound. So Lindsay Lavrovich with 9 points to lead Peninsula. Oh, marvelous. Maya Erling nails the three-pointer. And she spent a lot of time on the bench in that first half playing with 3 fouls on her. She had to come out with about a minute and a half to go in the first quarter, so she didn't even play the second quarter, and that's when Glacier Peak built up the lead. That's a good one by Lavrovich. 11 points for her now. Piper Bauer with 6 points. She hit 2 3-pointers in the first quarter. Kara McKinney with 3 points, all in the first quarter, and Belle Frazier with 11 points for the Peninsula Seahawks. Grambo with the ball. 6:34 to go, third quarter. Collins thinks shot, now drives in, dumps it off to Rubino. Oh, yeah.
Basketball number 15, Madison Rubino.
Rubino with 4 points. That's her first field goal. 21-point lead. This is looking challenging for the Seahawks right here as Glacier Peak looking like they're playing at the state tournament. This looks like something we'd see with their intensity and efficiency. That's something that would take place. That's a big basket right there at the state tournament.
Exactly.
Belle Frazier connects her first three-pointer. She has 14 points in the game. On the other side, Haley Grambo with 9 points. Missed by Guffey. Grambo gets the rebound. Turnaround. Can't get that one to drop, but Guffey gets it back, and they got some fresh time on the clock. No reason to rush. Erling with the basketball. Don't force it. Got 3 in the key, and you can see, Todd, they just got frantic there, and they didn't need to be.
Yep,
you have plenty of time on the clock. You got an 18-point lead, and these are the times when you can take some time off the clock and work it to your advantage.
That is right. Work on your plays. Get those set up.
Shea Sandy has 5 points, 6 points for Malia Smith, 2 3-pointers in that second quarter. Rubino now with 4. Guffey has 6, all in the second quarter. There's Grambo underneath. Rubino, yeah, it doesn't quite fall. She had a nice move, though.
She did.
Collins with 12 points, 2 for Tiara Holloman.
But she had a lot of help around her, too, so she could have dropped that off.
Maya Erling now with 8 points in the game after hitting that three-pointer. Soft touch. That's Belle Frazier. She's having a big game. Offensively now, 16 points. Peninsula steals it back. They're trying to make a move. Miss on the shot by Papulus, and then eventually a foul is going to be called against Glacier Peak with 4:49 to go in the third quarter. That's going to go against Haley Grambo. Her first foul, first team foul. Neither team had committed a foul until that point, with 4:48 now left to go in the third quarter. And holding the ball will be Lovrovich. Down low underneath. That's definitely a foul. Going to send Taryn Richter to the line with 2 shots. And Todd, like I was mentioning, as Glacier Peak had built it up to a 21-point lead, you got to stay with it and not slack up, because Peninsula is a good team. They'll come back on you very quickly. It's a game of runs.
No joke.
Leah Collins called for her second foul, second team foul. First foul shot is good by Richter. Her first point of the game, now 2 points in the game. And that 21-point lead is down to a 14-point lead for Glacier Peak. And the pressure defense applied by Peninsula, but the Grizzlies are able to break it. Into front court, Guffey. Now Erling, and now they're going to take a little time. He's showing some patience at this point. Grambo going to drive in, pull-up jumper just inside the foul line by about a foot, and she connects on it. Glacier Peak up by 16, 4:24 left to go, third quarter. This is STSPN.com and the Top of the Peak tournament.
When you shop at Ace Hardware in Everett and Lake Stevens, we'll help you find what you're looking for and offer friendly advice too. Owners Greg and Christine are all about serving their customers and their community. They support local high school sports and many other community organizations and events. So the next time you need help with your to-do list or project around the house, bring it to Ace. They'll greet you at the door and help you find whatever you need fast. Show your support for locally owned businesses. Shop Ace Hardware just off Highway 9 in Lake Stevens and Everett Greenway in Everett. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
Ace is definitely the place, and thanks to Greg and Christine Eaglestad out at those 2 locations, Lake Stevens and Everett, is business going well, and we appreciate all our viewers stopping by and supporting those 2 great Ace Hardware stores. 54-38, 4:09 to go, third quarter. Peninsula with the basketball going from your left to right. Comes out of there. Rubino will get the rebound up ahead to Collins. Collins will drop one down low. Collins is dangerous if she gets in there by herself, but that doesn't happen this time around, as it is going to go back the other direction and finally going to go out of bounds. Last touch by Peninsula.
Who was it that got their hand in there? Was that Frazier again?
Frazier has been around the ball a lot, and she's out there, so yeah, that would be about right. She is, and also we've seen Richter show more of her presence out there. Looks like Grambo's going to have a breather. Sandy into the game for her, Shea Sandy, who is a junior, replacing a senior. Holloman just off on that shot. Frazier gets the rebound. She's done a really good job of keeping Peninsula in this game. Leads them in scoring with 16 points, plus the different things she's done defensively with the hands and the rebounds. That goes against Shea Sandy. Her first, third team foul against Glacier Peak. Peninsula has not committed a team foul here in the second half. And Todd, this works out perfectly for you because you are right here in home territory at Glacier Peak.
That is correct.
Seahawks with the basketball in front court. Piper Bauer loses a handle on it. Going to go back to Glacier Peak, but they really forced that with the double team over on the far right corner, and they will inbound now. There's Erling. Collins quickly out of back court. She's very quick. She's only 5'5", and you think she's taller than that. She's one of those players that looks taller when she's out on the court, as Erling missed a gimme. That's stuff you got to make.
There was a travel.
No call. Peninsula stays with it. Three-pointer is good. That's going to be by Lovrovich. Now 12 points. She has hit 3 three-pointers in the game, 1 in each quarter. It's down to a 13-point lead for Glacier Peak. They just throw one up there.
What are they doing? I don't understand.
Yeah, they're getting a little frantic, and as we've talked about, team can get out of control some. And you know, Brian Hill is keeping a close eye on that. Another foul is going to be called against Glacier Peak, so that'll be number 4. Still no fouls called against Peninsula. Checking back in for the Grizzlies is Malia Smith. She's going to replace Erling. The foul is going to be called against Tiara Holloman, her second, fourth team foul. And Peninsula will inbound on the right baseline. They have to sort that one out. 30-second timeout is called. That was smart. 54-41. You see this one tightening up some. 2:39 left to go, third quarter, first game of the 2018 Glacier Peak Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament on STSPN.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200+ national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
Back live action at Glacier Peak High School. This is game 1 of 4 today. Mark Ockett, Todd Elvig bringing you the action. 2:39 left to go, third quarter, and Glacier Peak is up 54-41 with 2:34 left to go in the third quarter. That's a nice touch again. Belle Frazier, 7 points in the quarter, 18 in the game. She leads all scorers, and an 11-point lead for Glacier Peak. And just like that, the Peninsula Seahawks are creeping back into this thing. There's another miss. Glacier Peak not doing themselves any favors with those missed shots, as they've had like 3 chances down court in a row and haven't connected. There's a travel call. That's going to be called against Peninsula. Turn it back over to the Grizzlies. An 11-point lead. They've been up by 21 points. They were sitting there at 50-29 and then 52-31. And that's when Peninsula started chipping away at this.
Boy, they did too. They've just been patient.
Got down to 54-38. And just getting a little closer. There's Collins driving in. Forces the foul, and she's going to have 2 shots. Collins has not been to the line as of yet. And To the Stripe brought to you by Gamut 360 Holdings. At the foul line, Collins will have the 2 shots. Foul was on Frazier. Maya Erling back into the game for Glacier Peak. 1:56 left to go, third quarter. It's kind of one of those wintry days too, Todd, where you just want to come inside and not be out amongst the gray. You want to watch basketball.
Exactly.
Collins hits the foul shot. 12-point lead. She gets 1 out of 2. Got to watch those fouls too for Glacier Peak, as they have 4 team fouls. That could play a factor as we head down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Looks like Glacier Peak's got a big breakaway right here. There it is. Maya Erling gets it. Now has 10 points, half of those in this quarter. It's back to a 14-point Grizzlies lead with 1:25 to go in the third quarter. Peninsula in the dark uniforms. Moving the ball in front court is Lovrovich. Belle Frazier clears out some real estate underneath. Peninsula working it around, just 5 on the shot clock. They're going to have to do something quick here. There it is, as the shot clock is going to go off. She didn't get it off in time. It was going to be close, and the shot clock ends up hitting the buzzer, and that will turn the ball over to the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. 15 turnovers now for Peninsula. Less than a minute to go in the third quarter. Oh, Collins just makes it look so good.
Boy, that's a sweet play right there.
15 points for Aaliyah Collins. And a 16-point Glacier Peak lead. Frazier can't do it all. She's got to look for a teammate and gets it done.
Wow, that was a great shot.
Big time. Piper Bauer connecting. That's her third three-pointer in the game. She has 9 points overall, all three-pointers. Miss a travel. That's going back to Glacier Peak. Big break right there, as Peninsula had an opportunity to get it and go down the other direction. A three-pointer would have made it a 10-point game, but instead it's going back to the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Didn't even get out of town. They're going to keep it right down in their own end. Holloman with the basketball. They'll work for one shot, or they should, and it works. That's a three-pointer. Well, they'll take it. 16-point lead at 62-46. Let's see what Peninsula does here.
I like that line.
That was
get out
nice.
Of town.
Well, you know, Todd, I got to keep it fresh.
Yeah, that's right.
Frazier not going to get it as the clock winds down, and that is the end of 3 quarters. Our score is Glacier Peak 62, Peninsula 46. We'll be back with the 4th quarter. Stay tuned right here on STSPN.com.
Ho, ho, go. I think my ride's due for an upgrade.
There's more than one way to fly. Great deals all month long at the Dodge Black Friday event.
When you shop at Ace Hardware in Everett and Lake Stevens, we'll help you find what you're looking for and offer friendly advice too. Owners Greg and Christine are all about serving their customers and their community. They support local high school sports and many other community organizations and events. So the next time you need help with your to-do list or project around the house, bring it to Ace. They'll greet you at the door and help you find whatever you need fast. Show your support for locally owned businesses. Shop Ace Hardware just off Highway 9 in Lake Stevens and Everett Greenway in Everett. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
Here you go.
Welcome back, 62-46. I'm Mark Ockett with Todd Elvig, Sarah Elvig here as well. And she doing craft services.
That is exactly right. Actually, I have her
That'd
mother
be a tall
doing,
Tom term right there, craft services.
I have
liaison.
Her mother sending over some stuff here in a while.
There you go. We might put her on audio graphics.
Yeah.
He has some great support staff terms right there. All right, so we get going here now in the 4th quarter. Glacier Peak up 62-46. And underneath, Collins misses the shot. That foul was called against Kara McKinney, her first second team foul. Peninsula in front court. They got to make every possession count right now. At 7:40 to go in the 4th quarter. A chunk of time left, but when you're down by 16 points, you better be smart with what you're doing every time down court. Foul on the way in. Now the key is to hit these foul shots. That's going to go against Maya Erling, her 4th foul, 5th team foul. Going to the foul line will be Kara McKinney. Brought to you by Evergreen Speedway.
And try that again.
Brought to you by Evergreen Chevrolet.
Try that again.
Brought to you by Speedway Chevrolet.
There you go.
Third time's the charm. That's what I get for going off the copy. So there, I go, wait a minute, that didn't sound right. So, well, we got to plug in for the Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah, well.
Check it out. Coming up
all the same
next
spot
season.
over there.
Yeah, they're all right over there in Monroe. Issaquah is where another Speedway is down there as we lose the basketball. That's Glacier Peak turning it back over. And that's going to, actually, it's going to be a foul going to be called.
Ooh, Belle Frazier's got 4.
Belle Frazier with her 4th. Now, what's interesting there is they flashed up her first foul the last time she was called for a foul. See, they only have 2 up there right now. She's actually got 4. I've kept close eye on that because she's been a big factor in this game. And she's not in there right now. And Rubino connects on it. Again, thank you to Speedway Chevrolet out of Monroe for sponsoring the foul shots, and Gamut 360 Holdings from the stripe as well. That goes out of bounds. 6:50 left, 4th quarter, a 64-47 game. Taken by Glacier Peak underneath. Sandy keeps control of it, and a timeout is called by the Grizzlies. Smart move by Brian Hill to get that done. You can see where that was going, and we're going to take a timeout also. 17-point lead, STSPN.com, top of the peak holiday tournament.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200 plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
It is a 17-point lead for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. We're bringing the action, a first game of 4 today in the 2018 Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament. This one gets us started, Peninsula and Glacier Peak. And then at 2:45 scheduled to play is Kent Lake and Sunnyside. Inbound ends up in Collins' hand. Missed on that. Is flung out of there. Getting it was Grambo. She finds Rubino, and Rubino's going to be fouled. The team foul starting to get closer to the two teams. That's going to be the 4th team foul. Foul is going to go against McKinney, her 2nd. Glacier Peak will inbound. Rubino gets it to fall off the inbound pass from Haley Grambo. That had some special Todd Elvig spin on it.
That had some special sauce on that one.
It sure did. 19-point lead, 66-47. That's a good-sized lead at this point in the game. And Glacier Peak is trying to play smart themselves right here. Shot off on the right baseline. The double team helped out there. Yeah, she got that one. That was a beautiful shot by Renee Doss. It's one of those that you look and go, did it go in or did it go under?
Exactly. I mean, I don't even think.
How did she get that over the rim? And to her great credit, though, it was such a beautiful shot. Some of them are so quick and smooth, you just got to double check. And, of course, as we're getting older with our eyesight, we have to make sure that they go in.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
going to go out of bounds.
Well, I've seen them where they hit the net from the bottom, and you're like, oh, that went through. No.
Yeah, and there's that, too. It can be the reverse of it. Glacier Peak trying to win and advance on to tomorrow. Well, they're going to play tomorrow no matter what, and on Saturday, but it's just where you're going to be positioned at, and they want to get to the semifinal. Grizzlies will get it back, and you can kind of see, too, right now where Peninsula is getting a little bit tired out there. Glacier Peak misses on that long one. Seahawks with the basketball. They'll come out of backcourt. And a foul. They'll keep firing away at it. So tomorrow, the 4:30 game is the first semifinal, and that will be between the winner of this game, Peninsula and Glacier Peak, against the winner of the next game, Kent Lake and Sunnyside.
Oof, boy, that.
Foul goes against Guffey, her 2nd. Team foul number 6. Foul shot is good. Malia Smith checks back into the action, replacing Shea Sandy for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, and Erling's going to come back in with the 4 fouls. Miss on the 2nd one. Finally, a foul is going to be called, and that is going to put them into the bonus. Rubino called for her first. McKinney at the line again. She's now 2 for 5 from the line. Tiara Holloman is back in for Glacier Peak, and so is Maya Erling. Just 5:06 to go in the 4th quarter, and Glacier Peak is up by 15 points. Stays that way. Holloman will get the rebound. Peninsula putting the pressure defense on. Glacier Peak able to break it. Oh man, that was smooth. There is Haley Grambo to Malia Smith. That's textbook right there, Todd.
That is, too. And, you know, you never know when those things are being thrown around like that, when the ball's being thrown around, if it's actually going to make it.
And on the other end, Labrovich coming through. She averages 17.4 per game. She's at 17 right now. Erling from Collins comes off the rim. Collins gets the rebound. That keeps it alive, and we got over and back. A 15-point lead for Glacier Peak. 4:27 left to go in the 4th quarter. It's kind of nice, too, Todd.
that is. It
and
seems like that.
There's no problem there. It balances out over time. Because eventually, and if you're wise enough to host one of these tournaments, and again, Glacier Peak has put together a beauty with all these great teams in here. So you play at 1 o'clock now, and then say you win that game, which is what they're trying to do. Collins again. How about her? 17 points. Big game. But then you get a chance to rest up and not have to play again until tomorrow at 4:30, which is beneficial. Held ball. 3:52 to go, fourth quarter. Glacier Peak up by 17, 70-53, and Peninsula's going to have to mount some kind of charge to find a way to make this happen. Belle Frazier will check back into the game. A lot of positives to say about her. She's got 18 points.
Yeah, no, she's a player.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice-looking shot. She just a little bit off the mark. It looked good from this angle. Basket is good by Doss, and a timeout is immediately called by Peninsula. 15-point lead for Glacier Peak. Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament, Game 1 on STSPN.com.
McDaniel's Do It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized Do It Best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
You know that test drive I've been trying to get to? You're not going to believe this, but Raritan's of Monroe just delivered it to my work. I gotta go.
Too busy to schedule a test drive? Raritan's of Monroe will bring the test drive to you. It's part of our new concierge service.
Welcome back. And we are here taking a look at things. We can also do a stock market update while we're here, since it's a business day. And why not, you know? And I think you'll be pleased with what I'm going to deliver here in a little bit. It is a 3:34 time to go in the fourth quarter. 70-55. Glacier Peak is up by 15 points. Peninsula gets the basketball back, and they're going to throw it away. 19 turnovers for the Seahawks. There's Collins going the other direction. She lays it in. 19 points for Aaliyah Collins. And, you know, Todd, we named her player of the game last Tuesday in the big win against Lake Stevens. And isn't this different? It's a tournament. We can give her a different T-shirt. I just think she's played another phenomenal game out there. And would you be okay if we named her player of the game again, or do you have some other player, assuming Glacier Peak wins this, and with 2:57 left in the fourth quarter, it's looking good for them?
Who's close to her?
What you mean as far as friends are concerned? Is bonding, chemistry?
Yeah, right.
I told you we're going to have fun with this.
Oh, yeah.
We're here for
a
long time, and we're going to – but here was the shot on the way. Oh, look at underneath Grambo. Well, I'll tell you what, Haley Grambo's played a great game.
She's got 4 fouls?
No, she just got 1. I think Haley would be a good choice. We went with Aaliyah, and she may win it again at some point during this tournament.
Oh, there's no doubt she'll win it during the tournament. I'm just thinking that she's had a lot of support.
And you got all the shirts over here. Let me just, as we provide some color commentary on top of that. Boy, I'll tell you what, as I looked up, Todd,
there's so many of these shirts.
These cameras you have, they look like something you'd find at ESPN or NBC. You don't hold back on your expenditures on that. That foul was on Grambo, her second, and that's the 8th team foul. First foul shot is good.
Just toss it at him.
That is we're going to take a look at this here. I saw the preliminary design for it, and connecting will be Belle Frazier. Couple of those at 72-57, 2:30 to go now in the fourth quarter. Now, Tom Lafferty's going to be calling the nightcap tomorrow and then all 4 games on Saturday. And I'm keeping him abreast as to what's going on as he's over at the 50,000-watt blowtorch across the way. across the valley.
He is over there.
So we'll keep him on top of things. Team foul number 6 called against Peninsula. That's going to go on Esther Papulis. First foul. Grambo. Boom. Yeah, I think that just put the icing on the cake for her. 13 points. Underneath, Lebrovich. 19 points for her as she's over her average, 1:58 to go. Fourth quarter action. Let's take a look. It is 2:17, so the next game is supposed to start at 2:45. So that keeps it pretty well on schedule at this point in time. This one's starting to wind down deep into it. That's going to be a basket by Renee Doss. We'll take a timeout. It's a full timeout. 74-61. Glacier Peak on top. 1:40 to go fourth quarter. Looking good for them to advance to play tomorrow at 4:30 against the winner of the next game between Kent Lake and Sunnyside right here on STSPN.com.
Did you know that Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal.
74-61, Glacier Peak on top, 1:38 left to go in the fourth quarter. Things looking good for the Grizzlies. Pressure defense by Peninsula. As Glacier Peak is going to take their way coming out of back court, there is Grambo over onto the left side. Might as well take some time, but kind of forcing a couple passes. They're getting a hand on it is Peninsula. Knocked out of bounds, and the Grizzlies will get it back. 1:25 to go in the fourth quarter, and 15 on the shot clock. Collins has the basketball, looking around. You want to run time down. You also want to try to get another basket right here. Put some big distance between you and the opposition. 4 on the shot clock. Underneath, thrown away.
Whoa.
That's a break for Peninsula. It's a stretch, but you never know. Uh-oh, got to watch that. There is Collins. Just a marvelous game for Alia Collins. Underneath, Grambo. Down it goes. 15 points for Haley Grambo. Averages 8 per game. She's almost double her per-game average. A 15-point lead. 50 seconds left fourth quarter. That's up on one of the retaining cords, strips that holds the basket in place. Because if that wasn't up there, Todd, that basket would fall down. 76-61. I'm convinced of that. It's a guide wire. That's what we'd call that in the industry. Glacier Peak just going to run this one out. It's a 5-possession game. They've got this one, and they are going to advance to the semifinal, game number 1 tomorrow. First of 2 semifinals that'll take place at 4:30. Peninsula, with a loss, will play tomorrow at 1 p.m.
So they play first tomorrow?
Yeah, they play first tomorrow against the loser of Kent Lake Sunnyside. Seahawks with the basketball. This will be their first loss of the season. They are a good team, though. That Belle Frazier has really been impressive out there. The other one is Lovrovich. She has played a whale of a game, too, so they've definitely got talent. Here we go. We're going to wrap it up. 76-61. Glacier Peak, the host of the Top of the Peak Holiday Tournament here in 2018, picks up the victory, and they will play tomorrow coming up against the winner of Kent Lake Sunnyside. And, again, Peninsula will play against the loser of Kent Lake Sunnyside. These teams will just keep playing on through Saturday. This is just the beginning. We have 1 in the books out of 12. So we have 11 more to go, 3 more today. And we're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to go get Haley Grambo and bring her up for our Player of the Game, sponsored by Adrenaline Fundraising here on STSPN.com. Again, the final score, Glacier Peak 76, Peninsula 61. Stay on board.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200 plus national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
There you go. All right, Haley is our player of the game for game number 1. A final score of Glacier Peak 76, Peninsula 61. I'm Mark Ockett with Todd Elvig and Sarah Elvig bringing you the action on STSPN.com. And the T-shirt for player of the game is sponsored by Adrenaline Fundraising. Look at that. You got a nice T-shirt right there. Yeah, fantastic. Todd had fun putting those together. Actually. Yeah, it is cool. It's unique to this tournament. And I saw the prototype on Christmas Day, I believe it was. He was all giddy like a schoolboy and said, hey, look what I put together. And those look really sharp. As you see our sponsors on there, Adrenaline Fundraising, Raritan's of Monroe, Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens and Everett. And we're just happy that, we have a chance to talk to you. And what a great game you played. And, I could talk about your offense, and I will. But your defense was fantastic. I love pressure defense. I love swarming hands and stuff like that. Tell us about how you have been developing that defense this year, or if it goes back further than that, because it's really been effective in the last two games we've seen you guys.
Yeah, we work on keeping our hands straight and not fouling. I feel like Hill just tries to teach us to keep our hands in their face but not foul, because that's just a waste of a play and waste of pressure, waste of energy if you're going to foul and ruin the play anyways. So I feel like we've just been learning to keep our hands moving, move with the ball, and that just really fuels us. Like, we don't really have a good offense if we can't play our defense. So
do you get it to where it's instinctive then, as far as just knowing exactly what you want to do, so you don't have to wear yourself down mentally, but just your body reacts a certain way to what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I feel like
Okay. But no, it's fun to watch, and you put that heat on, and we saw that last week against Lake Stevens, where they were stymied out there because you just kept up on them, and it's like your energy level was way high. How is that for you as far as maintaining your stamina throughout the course of a game, because you put a lot of energy out there on the court?
Yeah, I would just say that if we don't play good defense and we don't have that fire and we don't move our hands and play straight up and keep going and pushing, we're not going to play good. We're going to play lackadaisical. We have to have that fire to play good. It's not like most teams where they can kind of play okay defense and then have a good offense. We have to have energy to fuel our entire game.
Well, and the other thing too is that the energy level went over to the other side too offensively, in that you were moving the ball so well. That's fun to watch with your team as to how well you find each other on the court.
Yeah, that's actually – we work surprisingly good for a new team kind of. We haven't really all played together entirely, so I think it's pretty neat that we know we can see each other. I think it's just because all of us have really good court vision. We're looking for each other. We're not selfish. We're always looking for the next pass, and even sometimes we overpass, but it's just good to have a team that's not selfish, and we always look for the next open pass to get a better shot, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. And then the fact, too, that your passes aren't half-court passes. They're short and crisp passes, so that it's quick and you know where each other is, instead of going, okay, I'm going to go way over here with this pass, and then it goes out of bounds.
Sometimes we do that, but that's just when we get carried away.
Yeah.
But Hill tries to keep us short, quick passes, because that's how you break a zone. A lot of teams have been zoning us. We haven't seen much man this year, so – yeah, he just tells us short, crisp passes, work the ball around.
You and Aaliyah Collins both had big games offensively. 15 points for you, 19 for her. And so that's 34 points right there. And what was really impressive and what we've seen this season and is the fact that you work so well at closing on those lay-ins inside.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in itself, it seems to one that would be an easy thing to do, but it's not always easy because there's a lot of times players will get too far underneath or they're fired up too early, but you both seem to have a good touch in knowing where the basket is.
Yeah, sometimes we have to slow ourselves down. Like you said, we find ourselves underneath
Yeah.
the hoop. But actually, Hill's been working on us with our lands because we tend to miss more lands than we should. We miss the easy ones like the gimmies, and we miss like 12 lands a game, so that's like a lot of points if you think about it.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's 24 points right there.
It would save us a lot of energy if we could make those, so we've really been working. This game, we actually finished really well. That was really good. It shows that we've been working on in practice. He's been with that big block thing and just like hammering us like underneath the hoop. And
that's good. It's paying off.
Yeah, it's been helping.
And when you say Hill, you're referring to 11th year head coach Brian Hill, who's been the only coach that Glacier Peak High School is known for girls basketball since it opened in 2008. And obviously, you guys have built a tradition here. We look forward to seeing you continue to do well in the tournament and throughout the season. So thanks for your time and congratulations on winning that Top of the Peak T-shirt. As the media will now get your picture right there. And again, great job out there. And
Thank you.
You got a little time to rest up. You're playing tomorrow at 4:30 against the winner of this next game between Kent Lake and Sunnyside. Haley, thank you. We love your style of play and your smart player out there. So again, thank you very much. That's Haley Grambo. Again, the final score: Glacier Peak 76, Peninsula 61. That wraps up our first game coverage, and we've got our second game coming up, and we'll be coming your way in probably about 17 minutes or so, 16, 17 minutes. It's going to be Kent Lake against Sunnyside, and the winner of that game, again, will play against Glacier Peak. The loser will play against Peninsula. So these teams are going to be playing 3 games no matter what, and it's just a matter how it lines up, and I think it's great. They get to come up. They get to travel. That in itself, Todd, is very important for these teams, especially at this juncture of the season. They're about the 1/3 mark, and you really build and can enhance your team chemistry with the traveling like that.
That is right.
All right, that's Todd Elvig. I'm Mark Ockett. We're going to come back with more. Stay with us. We really and sincerely appreciate you following us here on STSPN.com. If you like what you're seeing, let the ADs know, and we'll always take on more sponsors. We've got a great lineup, but we can always add more. That's no problem for us right there. We'll be back with more here on STSPN.com. Stay tuned.